Good morning and welcome to Sunday School here at Trinity Lutheran Church. Today we are going to talk about Samuel. Do you remember that little baby Samuel that Hannah prayed for? We talked about Hannah a lot last year, how Hannah was desperate to have a baby and God gave her a baby and she named it Samuel. Well, Samuel went to live at the church with a priest named Eli. So we're going to find out so much more about Samuel today. But before we get going, I would love to write this down as one of our blessings on the flower. The blessing that we're going to talk about today is that God is with us everywhere, anytime, anywhere. When you have to go into the scary, dark basement, guess who's with you? God's with you. When you are old enough and have to go into that restroom all by yourself, and you're like, oh man, I wish Mom was here with me, but she's not. Guess who's with you? God's with you. And we learn about that story here and learn about how God was with Samuel all the way through this. So God is with us. What a great blessing. So the name of the story today is God Calls Samuel. If you're looking in your Sparks Bible, it's page 122. And if you're looking in the Brown Sparks Bible, you're looking at page 299. Again, the Brown Sparks Bibles, it's the same story, it just has a lot more detail. Okay? All right, take a look. Here is our friend Samuel, and there's Eli. Woo, Eli doesn't look too happy there, does he? All right, let's check out what's going on. Samuel was a 12-year-old boy who lived in the temple with a priest named Eli, and he learned about God. Eli took care of Samuel, and Samuel helped take care of Eli, because Eli was almost blind. Now one night, something special happened. As Samuel slept in the temple, he heard a voice call out, "Samuel." Samuel thought it was Eli calling, so he jumped from his bed. "Here I am," Samuel answered as he ran to Eli. "I'm here because you called me." But Eli shook his head. "I didn't call you. Go back to your bed." Now Samuel did as he was told and fell asleep quickly. A little while later, the voice called again, "Samuel." This time Samuel was more tired, and he crawled out of his bed more slowly, and in Eli's room, Samuel rubbed his eyes and scratched his tummy and said with a yawn, "I'm here because you called me." Eli was getting tired of Samuel coming into his room and said more firmly, "I didn't call you. Now please go back to bed." And when this happened a third time, Eli thought to himself, it must be God who's calling Samuel. Eli told Samuel, who was now very confused and sleepy, "If you're called again, just say, 'God, I hear you, and I'll do whatever you want.'" And when the voice called again, Samuel did as Eli told him. It was God. And God had many things to say to Samuel. Even though he was only 12, Samuel wanted to serve God. And with God's help, Samuel grew up to share many messages from God. And people all over Israel knew Samuel as God's trusted prophet. All right, great story about Samuel. Now, where was Samuel when God was talking to him? He was in his bed. He was sleeping. This could have happened in many different places, but in today's story, it was while he was sleeping. And our blessing is that God is with us wherever we go. So I would love for you to grab your crayons or your markers and your sheet of paper. And first, I need a hamburger fold. And then another fold. So you get this little square. Open it up, and in each one of these little squares, I would love for you to write down one of the places or activities you're doing when God is with you. Just like Samuel, God is with us when we're sleeping. Oh, look, this girl is swimming. Yep, God's with you when you're swimming. Ooh, they're playing. God's with you while you're playing. And these people are eating. And he says, cookies. Yep, God's with us when we make good choices while we're eating. All right, that shouldn't take too long, but it's great to remember that God is with us wherever we go. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.
Hey, guess what? Walter the Bear and Jedi Master Yoda, it's time to worship God. And when we worship God, we do more than sing. We stand up, we sit down, we clap our hands, we do all sorts of things, especially when it's a TLC sing-along! Woo! Woo! And that's the song we're going to sing when we worship God. So you need to find a seat, because we're going to stand up, sit down, turn around, do all sorts of crazy actions. Join us. When we worship God, ba, 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 we do more than sing. When we praise His name, ba, 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 we do everything. When we stand up, sit down, stand again, and clap our hands, shout loud, stomp our feet, turn around and take a bow. Then we sit back down. When we worship God, ba ba ba, we do more than sing. When we praise His name, ba ba ba, we do everything. When we stand up, sit down, stand again, and clap our hands, shout loud, stomp our feet, turn around and take a bow. Then we sit back down. When we worship God, ba ba ba, we do more than sing. When we praise His name, ba ba ba, we do everything. When we stand up, sit down, stand again, and clap our hands, shout loud, stomp our feet, turn around and take a bow. Then we sit back down. When we worship God, ba ba ba, we do more than sing. When we praise His name, ba ba ba, we do everything. When we stand up, sit down, stand again, and clap our hands, shout loud, stomp our feet, turn around and take a bow. Then we sit back down. Thanks for joining us. May God bless you. May you worship God every day. It's time to worship God. And do you know that when we worship God, we do more than sin? Good job, Yoda.
I didn't do anything.